Hey y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, Saturday is Alabama Day at Saratoga, and for once we've got a really nice field for a Grade 1 stakes race at the Spa. So let's take a look at it. The Alabama is a Grade 1 run at 1.25 miles on the dirt, and it's for 3-year-old fillies, and it's the 9th race on the Saturday card at Saratoga. Number 1 is Sacred Wish. George Weaver's barn is red hot. He's just been winning dirt, turf. It doesn't matter. His barn is really firing on all cylinders. Sacred Wish had a nice Coaching Club American Oaks. Just laid off the pace and really was winning driving, it looked like, until Wet Paint nailed her at the wire. Ran a really nice race and continues to improve. And I fully expect this one will run another solid race. I'm not sure if she's got quite enough to take this one down. Tactically, I got a feeling that the pace is going to be a little quick, and that might sap her her closing kick late. But this one could be coming into the race in better form, I think. And I don't think the 1.25 miles will be a problem, being by not this time. So I think this one's a one that you have to use and should be prominent late. Number 2 is Wet Paint, and this one we know what she's going to do. She's going to come from the clouds and hope to take it down. I thought it was a little encouraging that the pace was kind of slow in the Coaching Club American Oaks, and yet this one was still able to muster a good kick and get up at the wire. So this one's coming into the race in good form. 1.25 miles should be right up this one's alley, being by Blame with Street Cry underneath. So not going to worry about the distance here. The only question I have is, a lot of times when you have multiple late runners in a race, it does create some traffic issues. And closers tend to be at their best when they're all alone and they can make that one run without anybody else in their way. Now, you've got some other late runners in this race, and they're all going to be wanting to do the same thing. So then it's just a question of who's going to get the trip. Flavian Pratt knows this horse, has been doing well at Saratoga. I fully expect this one will have every chance coming into the stretch, and I think is a definite use. Number 3 is Julia Shining. We haven't seen this one since the Ashland in a while, but has demonstrated some ability ever since her maiden race, where she came seemingly from nowhere to close out at 7 furlongs. Now, the issue has been that this one takes a long time to get going. That was the case at 2 years old. However, if you look at the pace numbers, her fractions are getting better, meaning she's rating closer to the pace better. And I think that might be the difference here. So I don't necessarily think she's going to be all the way in the back. I think she's going to be sitting just off the pace, and it could give her first jump on the rest. I think this one is got upside, and I'm expecting a big race. Running fresh shouldn't be a problem with Todd Pletcher. And you got Saez aboard, who knows this horse, has been there all the way along. And I really like Julia Shining's chances, and I think you're going to get a decent price. Number 4 is Sabra Tough, and this is your vintage Dallas Stewart entry into a big stakes race with a horse that seemingly doesn't really belong. Ever since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where this horse didn't run bad, it really hasn't done anything since then. And it appears to me that more than anything else, this horse just doesn't know how to win. And really, that's the issue more than anything else. And usually when you get these type of horses who get into a race where they're outclassed, things are pretty disastrous. So I don't like Sabra Tough, particularly at the distance. I think 1.25 miles is probably a little too long. If you watch that race, that option 50 at Saratoga, really she should have had a class edge over a field that really nobody in the race wanted 1 1/8 miles and wasn't able to get up to get it done. So I think that was a pretty good indicator that this one doesn't belong here, so I would pass. Number 5 is Fireline. And your vintage Chad Brown throws out another one for graded stakes. This one's did pretty well to start her career. You see the very impressive win in the maiden score at Aqueduct around one turn. Came back and debuted at 3 with a career high buyer. Always like to see that. Little disappointing this one didn't build off of it in the Delaware Oaks. Now, the pace was a little soft. It looked to me like they were afraid of some kind of a meltdown, so they held this one a little farther back than perhaps they should have. And I think that maybe is why you switched off from Dylan Davis to Javier Castellano. This one just kind of had a little too much to do late, and that was really the problem. There's certainly some talent here, and being by Arrogate, whose offspring are just winning everything lately, I think is makes this one a player in here. My question is whether or not this one can summon a big race to take this one down. I think he'll be sitting off the pace, and will probably have every chance. I just kind of like others a little better in this field. Number 6 is Chocolate Gelato. I've never really been a big fan of this horse, to be honest. I thought it was way overrated going into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and it was proven correct in that instance. This one's by Practical Joke. Does not want a 1.25 miles. There's no way this horse is going to get it. Was up the track at 1 1/16 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. The only reason I think this horse is in the race is to be a rabbit for Gambling Girl. It can't be anything else. They're both by Rapoli stable. This one has no chance. Otherwise, is an immediate toss. But I think is going to be gunned from the get-go to set pretty quick fractions for Gambling Girl, who is right next door. Gambling Girl number 7 is a deep closer. This is what this one does. I think they tried to get this one up a little closer to the pace in the Coaching Club American Oaks, given the small field, and it seemed to sap her late kick. Now, she may not have been tuned up all the way. Excuse me. That's entirely possible. Didn't run bad. I thought got a decent third, but was just no match for Wet Painter's Sacred Wish late. I fully expect this one will run better in this spot. It's Mike Rapoli. You know he wants to win this race. I think this one is best served coming from the clouds. And but again, you've got other late runners in this race, which may provide some traffic issues. But I think it's logical to assume that this one will be in the mix, should be coming late, and I think you got to use. Number 8 is Randomized. The Wilton Stakes, I don't know that was really a great indicator of what this one has in the tank. It was a small field. She had it all her own way and really wasn't challenged on the front end. Pretty easy win. So that 97, while being a really nice figure, and it does tower over this field, I'm not sure it's a real indication of what kind of caliber we've got here, because now you've got other horses with just as good a class who will be vying for the lead like this one. And again, I don't think this one's going to get it. I think Chocolate Gelato will. So this one should be rating just off the pace. And, could very well be in the mix. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't. She is by Nyquist, so 1.25 miles I think she can probably get. I'm just not sure of what kind of quality we have here. And you have to note that Irad Ortiz jumped off this one. So I think that's maybe an indication as well. I could see using her underneath, but I don't think this one's a win candidate. Number 9 is Taxed. And this one, last time in the Indiana Oaks, just really was, again, laying back and tactically was at a disadvantage, trying to run late into what was a soft pace. Defining Purpose was right behind the leaders and had the first jump and took advantage of it and drew off. So I don't know that that was necessarily the best scenario for this one. You're going to get more pace in this race, and I expect this one to be rating just off of it. And if she's good enough, we'll have first jump. I think she's coming into the race in decent form, and I think we'll have every chance. Again, if she's good enough, and I would use. Number 10 is defining purpose. And one of the things I noticed at looking at this horse, in order for her to be at her best, she needs to be just off a soft pace. And that allows her to unfurl her kick late. And usually she's at her best when tactically she can get the edge off of others. Well, she's not going to get that here. The pace is going to be a little quicker. And I think that's going to take this one right out of this race. I think the faster it is on the front end, the less chance this one has to be effective. So while got a pretty good win in the Indiana Oaks last time, it was tactically a perfect type of situation. And I think that the circumstances really work against this one this time. So I would pass. So here's what we look like for the Alabama for our top 5. Number 1, I'm going with Julia Shining. I think that she has demonstrated that she's improving steadily and is not so hampered by having too much to do late. I think she's going to be up closer to what will likely be a pretty hot pace, and it's going to get the first jump on the late runners, and I think tactically that's really important in this race. I think this one's got a lot of upside, and we're going to go with a little value as well. Number 2 is Wet Paint. She'll be coming late. No question about it. Has every chance to win this race. Will have a favorable pace scenario. I just have a feeling Julia Shining might get a little bit of a jump on her. Number 3 is Gambling Girl. Again, another one who's going to want to run late. That's proven to be her best style. Trying to rate a little closer hasn't worked out terribly well. And they do have a rabbit in here for her in Chocolate Gelato. So she'll have every chance if she's good enough. If it's going to be a late runner, I tend to believe Wet Paint's got a little bit more of an edge on Gambling Girl, but she's going to have every chance and will likely be under definite use for this race. Number 4 is Taxed. I think tactically this one was at a little bit of a disadvantage last time in the Indiana Oaks, but I think we'll be sitting in a good position this time, and if she's good enough, we'll have every chance. She should get first jump, and she'll be in really good position late. And number 5, we're going to go with Sacred Wish. This is a hot barn you're dealing with George Weaver. I think this horse is improving steadily. It should be another move forward should be coming here. I'm just not sure that she's got quite enough of a top end to take this one down, and that's really my only reason for discounting her. But Sacred Wish, I think, is a player in this race to be sure. So that's the top 5 for the Alabama. I think it's going to be a great race. And we've been waiting to have a nice deep field like this for a graded stakes at Saratoga. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, of course, I hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering, and I wish you the best of luck. If you do like content like this, go on over to RedditTheWire.com. I've got plenty of Saratoga coverage, full card analysis on the weekends, daily plays, as well as 2-year-old analysis. So go on over there and take a look. If you like what you see here in the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. And thanks to all of you who've recently come on board. We certainly appreciate it. It does help to keep us going. So we thank you for your support. We'll continue with our daily stakes plays throughout the meet at Saratoga. And as we have special events coming up, we will have added postings for that as well. We may have a Picks 5 sequence for Saratoga on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. That may be coming as well. So I'll be talking to you soon. So stay tuned right here, and be well until I talk to you again.